You listened to him on the KVJ show for years. Every time he tried to talk sports, he'd get shut down. After years of begging, we finally gave in. Brought to you by Bremen Motor Cars and by Wellington Anti-Aging. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
Well, happy Monday. Welcome to the show. Got the whole crew back together here. Ricky Bobby's back with us today.
It's a pleasure to be around you.
It's a very unusual feeling here.
Yeah, Diener's here.
Yeah.
We got everybody, baby. Ready to go at it here on this lovely Monday.
Get ready. Here we go.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's not a lot, but hey, at least it's football. Camp. That's what's going on right now.
I'll take it, man.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, the reports out of Dolphins camp today give you some of the highlights. Apparently a brawl broke out.
Woo!
Yeah, baby.
Things are getting real now.
Yeah.
Did some of them just realize they were Dolphins players? Is that what happened?
Getting salty.
Get me out of here.
Yeah. Oh, they put the pads on for the first time today, so now they're really jacking at each other. Jakeem Grant and Minkah Fitzpatrick apparently got into a little bit of a mix-up on the sidelines. A lot of people got into the mix as well. So
Oh, the rookie.
Yeah, I haven't seen video on that yet, but that'd be kind of cool.
I like that.
I mean, why not, you know?
I would imagine that there is video, though.
It's got to be, yeah.
It
There's
has
got
to
to be
be.
something, yeah.
Why would there not be?
Yeah, I just saw the tweets on it, but I'm like, oh, man, I'd love to see that.
Was there like a fight like spilling over onto the field? Like,
Said a sideline brawl. So, yeah, I mean, I don't have any context for it, like how, crazy it was. Were people ripping off helmets and throwing them? Was it like a Miami Hurricane type FIU fight?
yeah, see, that's what we want to know. If it's like that,
Right.
the people stomping on arms.
That's great stuff.
Yeah, then we
That's
want
kind
to
of
see
stuff we're hoping for.
some suplexes. We want to
Well,
know
it
that.
seems like the camaraderie of the Dolphins are off to a good start.
Hey,
Yeah.
look, that's how you build chemistry.
By beating the crap out of each
Right.
other?
I
know
don't
about that.
honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong. I mean, I think if you're in camp, I think there's going to be some scuffles that are going to happen. I mean, it's between the lines. You just, you duke it out. It means you care what you're doing. You're passionate. You're into what's going on. Doesn't
Right.
mean that necessarily you can't be like, all right, hey, look, it's just football and play on the same team when you guys are taking on opponents. But, people get chippy.
It happens, man. Look, it's football.
You're
and
competitive, right?
Yes.
Somebody's pushing you around. You want to push them back.
The coaches
Football.
like to see this to a certain degree. To a
Yeah,
certain
I
degree.
agree. I don't think coaches mind. I think if it's between the lines, they don't care. It's when it gets in the locker room and then it's on social media that they're like, come on, what are we doing?
Right.
That's a distraction. If it happens between the lines, they're like, hey, this is just what happens in the game.
yeah.
This is just it.
That's all part. It's all part of it. It is, and it does. All kidding aside, it actually does kind of build camaraderie and chemistry because
Sure, yeah.
if you come out on top and you come, you resolve your issues after that. Okay, look, we're both competitors. We're both going at it. It's kind of like when two rams are headbutting each other.
That's right.
They have
That's
respect
it.
afterwards.
That's it, baby. Yeah.
Kevin knows where I'm coming from.
Sure you care. Some of the highlights, the ups, the downs of Dolphins right now. Apparently the offensive line looks atrocious.
Oh, good.
What else
They
is
say
new?
sacks have been fairly common. Defensive linemen are just schooling them like crazy.
That is not the thing you want to hear. That's common in practice. It's just
Yeah.
running free and sacking the quarterback.
Now, they might put it together. The Dolphins have been pretty good the last couple of years. Last year, they allowed 33 sacks, which was 11th fewest in the league. So hopefully it's just, early camp kind of stuff. They say that wasn't good. Apparently, cornerback Xavier Howard looks good. He's been schooling Devontae Parker.
Really?
Yeah. They say the receiver stuff's been kind of interesting for the Dolphins.
Devontae Parker scares me because he's that guy-
unreliable?
Yeah, kind of, because he came in. Now, this is his third year. And when he came in as a rookie, we thought, we got a nice pick here. He's a
course,
tall,
yeah.
fast receiver. And last year, he didn't do much. His rookie year, he was kind of injured on and off, so it was hard to see. And now with these reports
That he's not looking
coming
good
out,
in camp so far, yeah.
It's kind of scary.
Might be a bust. They say the one that looks good is last year the 7th-round pick, Isaiah Ford.
Oh, yeah, I remember that guy.
They say he looks good. Even though he
Good.
didn't have a 40 time that was off the charts, he's apparently been catching a lot of long bombs. They say the obvious receivers right now look like Kenny Stills, Devontae Parker, Amendola, Albert Wilson, Jakeem Grant are likely in, and then it's going to be kind of like between Leonte Carew, Rashawn Scott, and then this cat.
Why is this guy Carew still on the team? What are we doing with with Rod Carew over here? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Enough already.
He might not be for much longer.
No.
David Fales looks like he's the number 2 quarterback right now, but they say he threw the ugliest pass of camp.
No. That's my
today.
guy.
Yeah,
That's
they
your
said it was-
guy?
They said you couldn't even tell who it was to. It was picked off ultimately.
Oh,
but-
geez.
Yeah, so that was bad. And Former FAU kicker Greg Joseph, he went 3 of 6 on Friday from field goals, and today he apparently booted a 55-yarder, so he looks better today.
Okay. That's good. Yeah, because I was going to say 50% is not good as a kicker.
No.
You want to be closer to the 80,
You want to
90%.
be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss 3 out of your 6 kicks. So I'm happy to hear the kicking situation is getting better.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate the Dolphins update here that we're giving. I'm just a little scared about the offensive line. That's what frightens me here a little bit.
That's the initial. I mean,
You think it frightens you? How do you think Ryan Tannehill feels?
Yeah.
He's like, I've been working on a bum knee this whole past year, and all of a sudden you
you're
guys
right.
suck.
No, that is something. I mean, they just strapped on pads. Now I'm sure that they've still got those
Yeah.
no contact jerseys on the quarterbacks,
Right.
but so
Still,
he's not going to see any
in
contact.
reality,
Right.
if that was actually happening.
Seriously. I mean, if
yeah,
you're
you
talking
get
about
split in half.
longevity, I mean, David Fales is sitting there like, okay, man, it's one good shot on that 2.0 knee brace away from
Yes.
popping in there, and then that's your guy. David Fales.
Yeah.
Never
It just
fails.
feels like, wow.
Never. Did you really just say never fails?
I didn't say that.
We missed Ricky, didn't we?
What do you guys think about this Tom Brady situation? I kind of knew this was going to be an issue. That Alex Guerrero is the guy that, if you're watching the Tom versus Time, was a guy that was oddly massaging him down at all times. He's his trainer. They have that whatever his food line is, or his he's Tom Brady has got this whole line of
It's TB12.
TB12. Yeah, they're partnered up in that. And Julian Edelman, who also is trained by Alex Guerrero, is the one that's got whatever that drug suspension is.
Oh, isn't it like a masking agent or something, where they don't
Yeah, I
really
think
know
that-
what
I
the
think
hell
it's
it
what
is?
it was. I think it's a
or
masking
something
agent.
very bizarre.
But it threw some question into saying, well, this guy should be. I mean, because for Tom Brady, this Alex Guerrero's helping out with diet, nutrition, supplements. I mean, everything. I mean,
Yeah.
it's top to bottom. There's no guessing game at all for these athletes. It's like, you've got somebody that tells you, like, do this, take this, put this here at this time
All right.
for a while.
Yep.
No comment.
Make sure you enjoy it. Whatever
Don't
they
sit
say.
down.
Yeah, don't don't sit down while you do it. And Tom Brady, I don't know, is he a little too defensive here? Because they asked him a question about this, saying, okay, Alex Guerrero, did he have a kind of part with Edelman's suspension?
Tom, when Julian tested positive, a lot of people connected it to Alex Guerrero. Just what's your reaction to that? Do you think it's fair?
I have no comment. That's just ridiculous.
Tom,
I'm out.
you guys.
I'm out. I'm out.
Done.
As I think this guy in the background goes, Tom.
Tom.
No, okay, never
I'm
mind.
out. I'm going to be clear about something here. I hate Tom Brady. I just want to make that's my
You
opening
have to be
statement
clear
on
about
this.
that. I feel
But
like
everybody should know that by now.
Uh-huh, yeah.
But I'm going to defend him here because Tom Brady ain't got time for that. I mean, come on, dude's 41 years old now. He's in like his 18th year, whatever it is at this point. He has all these Super Bowls, all these MVPs. Just you're gonna ask him that. You're gonna waste his time with that question at training camp. Like, what are you doing as a reporter?
I think it's a completely fair question.
Really?
I think
it's just
I think it's
wasting his
completely
I
time.
unbounds.
love the fact that the reporter actually asked it.
I think it's completely inbounds.
All right.
I love it.
I mean, because you're connected. I mean, Alex
Yeah.
Guerrero is your guy. I mean, not just in training, but he's a business partner of yours,
Yeah.
and one of your top receivers is suspended right now because of
For
this
some
guy.
wonky stuff.
So, is there any kind of correlation or
Yeah.
connection? I mean, I think you address it. I think you say, look, I don't know. I mean, there's an easy, quick answer and out for that. I mean, if you're Tom Brady, I think you got to be prepared for that question. He's a smart guy. He's been around. This isn't like his first year in the league. You got to know what kind of questions are coming at you, right?
Yeah, it's true. And you know what? It probably would have bode better for him if you would have just said no.
Or just said, I don't know. I mean,
No, you can't say I don't know because that puts some suspicion. If you just say no,
Well, be like, look, no, because whatever Alex Guerrero is doing with Julian Edelman, you would think there's got to be some kind of privacy that happens between those guys,
Yeah.
and say, look, that's between them. I don't know.
it's a bit of speculation. That's the only thing. When you say no, it cuts it. When you say I don't know, it creates more question. When you storm off, you're like, well, definitely something's going on here.
Or you say, look, that's not my department. I mean, that's a
you
question
just say
not
no.
for me. That's not my question.
I just feel like for him it's a total waste of time because what do you expect him to say? It's either going to be no or next question. I mean, he's not going to answer that question.
But is he going to give an endorsement for Alex Guerrero? Because apparently Alex Guerrero isn't liked by really many people other than Tom Brady. At least I know, when you're
It's
talking
kind
about
of like Tom Brady.
No.
Well, I mean, at least when you're talking about the coaching staff, and I think it's a real issue that's happening right now, and it's definitely a storyline that's happening in Patriots camp is what is going on? Is Tom Brady finally just, done with the attitude of the Patriots and how they run that organization?
It kind of feels like he has like senioritis almost. You know what I mean? Like you're in those final weeks of your high school career and you're just like, I'm almost done.
Alex Guerrero is at the center of a fight between Belichick and Tom Brady that you seem to have, and it's a press's job to try to uncover what's going on. If there's any unrest happening in Patriots camp, this is the kind of stuff they want to know about. I think it's inbounds.
Tom Brady is LeBron James. And
so?
because there's nothing going on in football, there has to be a story involving Tom Brady and the Patriots.
You're saying because they're polarizing figures?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the only reason why this is a conversation. If it was football, if it was in the midst of football season, we'd be like, oh, yeah, maybe. But this right now, it's like top story. Why?
Okay.
I don't
Well, at least it's
understand.
football, man.
Well,
Hey.
I mean, that's true. I mean, you get to talk about football.
There's a
Yeah.
game on Thursday. This week we will be talking about actual
Not this
football being
Thursday.
played. Yes, it is.
Next Thursday.
No, it's this Thursday.
Holy
August
hell.
2nd.
Yep.
Preseason?
Ravens Bears Hall of Fame game.
No
Yep.
way. Is
Yep.
that this Thursday?
Yep.
It's this Thursday.
You get to see their fifth string versus their fifth string.
That's correct.
It's going to be awesome.
At least for the first series, maybe we'll see some first stringers. But
Maybe.
it's football.
Maybe.
I'm in.
Well, we're coming up on the trade deadline for baseball. Speculating what Marlins are on the trading block right now.
Which ones aren't?
That's probably the shorter list. And Pete Rose has some comments on baseball. Is what he's saying right or not? We'll discuss next.
Be part of the show on Twitter at 640 The Hurricane, hashtag Kevin's Other Show.
Didn't make it out to Marlins Park this weekend.
Were you trying to go there?
No.
Okay.
I was going to say, I was like,
No, not really.
I didn't try, but I also didn't go.
Thought about it for probably 6 to 7 seconds.
Okay.
Then I thought, I don't know. Just wasn't feeling it again.
And then you moved on.
Yeah, well, and then I think it was I was looking at Saturday morning, and then I saw the score. Man, they got whooped Friday night, and then I'm like, well, okay, I got nothing going on Sunday, and then I saw the score Saturday, and I'm like, going, all right, yeah, they got whooped 2 times, but then they rebounded. They came back and actually wound up tying the series, and Urania actually did not lose.
Good for him.
Which is, that's a surprising fact right there.
Yeah,
That's
'cause-
good.
Yeah, his record isn't looking good. I think he's been abysmal too at Marlins Park.
Well, he only has like 24 losses or something, right?
He's 3-10. He's 3-10.
It felt like 24.
I don't,
What
know,
are they-
I don't know if that's as a defense or what. He's 3-10. I'm like, I don't know. What do I say?
See, if I say 24 losses and you tell me it's only 10, now it sounds like he's not that bad.
Well, yeah, I know. Of course.
in his last 13 home starts at Marlins Park, he's 0-8 with a 4.65 ERA.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but he didn't do too shabby yesterday. They blanked the Nationals 5-0 and split the 4-game set, so that's all good.
Martin Prado had a couple RBIs. I mean, the team's starting to come along. It's not like it's not. It's just, I mean, they're a 2-cylinder engine in a Corvette. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you have a very nice outfit going on there, but you're really running on toothpicks.
Yeah, well, I think, now what you're looking at with the Marlins is, okay, who's on the trading block? Who should they get rid of? Who should they hold on to? And I think, ultimately, everybody is,
For the most part, yeah. I
yeah,
think so.
they'll talk to everybody. But what are the, realities of who is going to be there, who is going to get traded? Sounds like JT Real Muto, it would take a lot to get him out of Miami. They really like him, and he's not a free agent until 2021. So it sounds like they're probably going to be holding on to him. Actually, Urania might be one of the guys to go.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough sell. What the hell are they
It
going to
will
get back?
be.
They're going to get somebody, a new person to sell beer in the stadium? I mean, like, what the hell are they going to
Yeah. Well, I mean, they seem to like some of his starts. I mean, his record isn't great. He's dropped the ERA down a little bit, but it's, it's not much. I mean, that's just it. Honestly, like, they're probably not really getting any calls because they just really don't have anybody to move. I mean, they're just so
It's a hard sell, man.
untried. I mean, who do you have
Yeah.
on the Marlins roster that anybody's going to be like chomping at the bit for other than Real Muto? That's the only one.
Castro, maybe?
Yeah, I honestly, I would be surprised if they hold on to Castro. I think that's probably the two.
Those are the 2 guys, right?
Yeah, I think that you're looking at.
Starlin's like, oh my God, I'm actually going to get traded. He's going to go to like the White Sox or something like that. Like,
He'll go to
who's-
Kansas City.
who's doing really bad right now? And
Kansas
get-
City,
yeah.
Baltimore.
Awful. Yeah.
Baltimore. That's what I was trying to think of.
Poor guy, man. Honestly, is anybody
so bad for him.
Is anybody like had worse luck in the majors than him? I mean, a good player. that
He's
just-
baseball Eeyore.
Yeah.
He is.
He winds up on bad
Doesn't
teams,
matter.
gets
Not
traded,
gonna win anyways.
and then the teams get good. And you just go, gosh, I miss every single party.
It's really a shame.
Yeah, it is really rough.
I wouldn't have been invited
He's like,
anyways.
could you imagine? He's like that guy that shows up to the party late and there's only like 3 people left. You're like, oh, I can't wait. And then he's just had like the time completely wrong. And they're cleaning up the house. And he's like,
Those
I
3
missed
people
it.
are wasted. They can't even talk to him.
He's the guy that shows up when someone's just taking the last piece of pizza, when somebody's just finally had the last beer out of the keg. You know,
It's
that's
okay. I wasn't thirsty anyways.
that really is
Starlin
it's
Castro.
the crew of Starlin Castro. Pete Rose is sounding off on baseball.
I love it.
It's not in the Hall of Fame, but I mean, still, you got to give this guy some credibility, right?
Of course.
I think so. He's baseball's all-time hit king. He is condemning the rash of strikeouts, home runs, the lack of fundamentals in baseball right now, and he thinks that they're juicing up the balls.
Whoa. He's going to throw controversy at the MLB? All right.
I think he's saying, I mean, he's what? He's in his mid to late 70s now?
Right.
Yeah.
I think he's 77.
I think
if
he's
read that
realizing,
somewhere.
he's like, I'm not getting in the Hall of Fame, so he says,
Oh, he's
screw
making.
it.
Do you see this Skechers commercial with him?
No.
When he's walking through the hallway and his wife pops out, which is a very young Asian lady. If anybody was paying
Yes,
attention
wait,
to that.
I have seen this, but
Yeah.
go ahead. Yes.
And she goes not in the hall. And he goes, man, I can't even be in the hall at home.
Yes.
And I was like, wow, that's a really funny joke that they put in a
Okay.
Skechers
It
commercial.
was funny. I remember that.
Okay.
So he's picking fun at it now. He's done. Now he's ready to just
I think
lob
so.
bombs at him.
I think so. He's just completely teeing off. Pete Rose said, I saw a ball bounce behind the dugout the other day in Anaheim, and it bounced into the second deck. He's like, tell me that's not juiced.
It's not a bad point.
Hey, they look like super balls out there. Remember that rubber ball you'd have it to go like 5
Yes.
stories high?
yeah.
So that's what's going on. He said, I saw Bryce Harper break his bat in half and hit a 420-foot home run in New York. He said that just doesn't happen.
Listen, this isn't like you or I saying the ball is
Right.
juiced. You know what I mean? This is Pete Rose, who knows pretty much everything you need to know about the fundamentals of baseball.
He has a major axe to grind, which is the only thing where you're like, okay.
Yeah, that's why.
He's got credibility, but he's got a major axe to grind against baseball.
But so did Jose Canseco, and everything he said was true when it came to the steroid stuff with Mark McGwire and Barry Bonds. We found out later that all the stuff he was saying was essentially true.
Yeah, but he was a crybaby.
Okay, but he had an axe to
Sure.
grind.
You're right.
But I mean, this is how long? I mean, how big is this axe for Pete Rose? I mean, this is a long one. They've been talking about that he's been trying to get in the Hall of Fame for
30,
how long now?
30 plus years,
Yeah,
right?
so I mean, like,
I'd
this is
say.
a long time. And you know what though? It's like the ball bouncing into the second thing. I don't know. Maybe the baseball players are hitting it harder now than they ever were before.
Well, the argument is
is that a
you could-
possibility too?
Yeah, but the thing you could say too, training is better. You know what I mean? That is the argument, and people will say that. There are a couple things, you know, with the baseball records that are out there. You talk about Babe Ruth's era. Well, you know, it took a while until you started getting more ethnicity in the league. And so look at the competition they're going against. Now you can also say, look at the training regimen and just how strong players are, and of course steroids and everything else that might be in it. So, you know, your your typical players likely better condition and better shape than they were, you know, in his era.
This was the argument about Tiger Woods, saying that when Tiger Woods first came around, he was the only one who looked like that, act like that, worked out like that. Now that everybody does it, he's kind of left behind the pack because they're all basically the
You're
same,
not
even
special.
playing fields.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, everybody figured out
When you're
the
going
secret
against
sauce.
John Daly, who in between putts is taking hits out of his flask,
Yeah.
it's a little bit different.
I mean, really, the only one. I mean, you know, in the previous area, I think the Shark was in pretty good shape. But I mean, Jack
Yes.
Nicklaus, you know, not to
Yeah.
call him a slob, but I mean, you know, he wasn't ripped. I don't think like
Yeah,
weight
he
training was a major part of his.
That's what I'm
regimen.
saying. I mean, like, yeah, it's in that type of situation. I mean, that he worked out more. He was more physically aware of what was going on. I
Yeah.
think now with baseball players, basketball players, with sports in general, I mean, these guys, they all look like Atlas.
Yeah,
It's
And I
true.
mean, it's very different than what it was back in the day in baseball when you used to smoke cigarettes in the dugout.
But I don't think that has any bearing, though, on how far they're hitting the ball or how
Absolutely
much
it does.
Well, I'm saying as far as in the case of I should let me rephrase that. In the case of Bryce Harper, when you have a broken bat home run go over 400 feet, it really. It doesn't matter what your training regimen is or how strong you are. You're hitting a 400-foot home run with a broken bat. Like, that's not raising your
I mean, the
eyebrow
bat
a little
breaks
bit.
on contact, though. So, like, you break the bat with the ball, so the ball gets hit and the bat shatters after the fact.
Yes,
it's not
and
like
that should.
it's
that
not like he
should-
snapped the bat in half and threw both
No,
parts of it at it, and it just
right.
flew into the stands.
But when your bat breaks, that is
Well-
historically supposed to slow down the.
And Pete Rose
Force
is
the
there.
ball.
Reggie Jackson wasn't hitting those kind of home runs. I mean, that wasn't happening. Reggie Jackson wouldn't put out a 420-foot home run with a broken bat.
Right.
was he
Is what he's trying to say.
was he hitting it in a hitter's park?
Yeah,
The
that's part
question?
of it. Part of Pete Rose, what he's got to say about baseball, he says that he just doesn't like that teams aren't putting the ball in play. He said he thinks that the ones that are, like maybe Boston is, that's why they're better than the Yankees. The Yankees relying on the long ball. And there are some games you can argue where the Yankees, if they go cold and they don't have home runs, they seem to be losing those games. They don't really strive to put the ball in play. And, there might be some legitimacy to that. He says, hey, look at the Astros. They put the ball in play, and they're world champs.
Pete
So,
Rose
I
is
don't see enough of it. That seems like a valid comment, doesn't
absolutely
it?
sure, and he is a guy, like we said, who has nothing to lose.
Of
Right.
course
And
not.
I always tend to kind of listen more to the guys who have no agendas and nothing to lose because,
Whoa,
He
with the
does have an
agenda thing,
agenda. He
definitely
has
has
an
an
agenda.
agenda.
well, his agenda is to go at baseball.
His agenda is to have nothing to lose. That's
He wants
his
to
agenda
burn.
at this point in time.
If he can't be in the hall, he wants to burn the hall down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He also hates the idea of expansion, saying, I don't think there's a lot of really good teams. There are more bad teams than good teams. And Pete Rose might have a point. There are currently 3 teams on pace to win at least 100 games this season, but 3 are projected to lose 100, with 12 teams already at about 13 and a half games back in the respective divisions. So do you need to water the product down even more? That's what Pete Rose says.
Just saying.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, what you need to do is you need to cut off so many damn games. How about that?
Big time. Yeah. No, there's
Well,
a
that's
lot
The
of
less
comments,
the
yeah.
less games will make for maybe a different strategy in playing those games.
And I shouldn't say that he doesn't have an agenda because his agenda is to go after baseball. What I should say is that he's not trying to impress anybody. He's not trying to kiss up to anybody in baseball. So, like we said, he has nothing to lose. And normally, those guys are a little bit more truthful than anybody else you're going to talk to about this stuff.
Quick shout out baseball-wise, we got a lot of local teams doing well. Phipps Park Barracudas, they're the Florida State champs of the Cal Ripken League, as well as the Southeast Regional champs.
Good stuff.
They're going to be heading
Phipps
to
Park.
Yeah, Phipps Park. That's where my lovely son plays his baseball. So
Oh, is that right?
congrats to those guys over there, the Barracudas. Yeah, and Tom Pastor. They're heading to lovely Indiana, which
Cool.
what a great place to play the World Series 10 under. They're going to be starting on Thursday, competing against 11 other teams from across the country.
That
Awesome.
sounds fun.
Yeah, right. Hey, kids, we get to go to Indiana. Lucky you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coming up here in a couple of minutes.
A tournament in North Dakota.
I just feel bad now. Like I feel bad.
The genius of Lane Kiffin recruiting. I got to talk about something I thought was brilliant. And Mark Richt, can he or can he not win big games? I got the numbers for you next.
It's Derek Jeter's favorite sports show, just like Derek Jeter is Florida's favorite owner. Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
Well, if you're a Canes fan, how optimistic are you about the U returning to be the U? And to me, the U is back when the U wins national championships. That's what you're known for. You got 5 on the wall, baby. So it's like when you win a national championship, then we can start throwing around that the U is back. It was way too premature last year. We're like, the U is back. No, they weren't. They got housed their last 3 games. That's not the U. That's not the U.
No, it's not. It's not. But and I know you're going somewhere
Calm
else here
down, Diener.
with your thought, but now I have to interject here on
Of course,
this.
he's about to eat that microphone.
I am. It's really close to me. Why is it so close to me?
don't
That's
know.
a good point.
It's your choice, really.
They are back to a certain degree. Because here's what I mean by that. Almost like with Tiger Woods. I think it's very similar. Tiger, to me, is also back because with Tiger Woods, part of his mystique was he's part of the national thought, the national conversation. The Miami Hurricanes last year, that was always part of their mystique as well. They were thought of as that big, scary opponent. They had the fast players and scoring all those points and all the big names. And last year, they got back to that. They were part of the national conversation again. So, to a certain point,
But are they
they're back.
as scary as they were before? Or are they just like, holy crap, they're actually kind of doing pretty good?
Before they lost to
better,
Pittsburgh.
they're better, but they're not back. I think they're back when they are in the college football playoff. To me, that's when you're like, okay, the U is back because now you're in contention for national championships. And you're right, they're better. I mean, just to give you a quick little, rewind, Miami was 0-5 against top 10 teams under Al Golden, 1-4 under Randy Shannon. So, now under Mark Richt, they were 1-2. They beat Notre Dame in that game, and Notre Dame was, I think, overrated.
I think they were number 3
they
going into
were.
that game,
That
right?
was earlier in the season, and
Yeah.
Notre Dame was
A little bit.
suspect.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of the season, they got Clemson, and that, and then Wisconsin. So
Right.
They lost those to top 10 teams. So
That
that's-
Orange Bowl was so disappointing.
Yeah. So they're
It really was.
Richt is doing better against the rivals. I mean, hey, you finally beat Florida State, and what they had lost the last 7. So
Yep.
they're better. They're not back. But the question for Mark Richt is he good in a big game?
Yeah, that's always been the knock on him.
Well, and that's probably the reason why he's not at Georgia anymore. Because towards the tail end there, he started losing a lot of those games against top 10 teams. Now, there's an interesting stat here. If you look at big games, there's one poll that says anybody against the top 25, and Mark Richt is actually number 7 on that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, number 7
So what's
against
the big deal then?
the top 25. He's got a 52% win percentage there. Let's go to the top 10. Mark Richt is 12-19 with a 38% winning percentage against the top 10.
Oh.
So he's great against the top 25. You get to the college football playoff, who are you playing? Top 10, baby.
Well, yeah. It's a bit different as opposed to
Yeah.
not the top 10.
And so that's the big question. Okay, if the U's going to be back, Mark Richt's got to learn to start winning some big games. He's 11-17, or went 11-17 when he was at Georgia in those kind of games. And it was worse towards the end. In fact, he started off pretty good against his first 7 seasons. He went 6-5 against top 10 opponents. And it was the back end of his career that he went 5-12 that they finally said, all right, Duke can't win the big game. And if you want to tag that on him, Mark Richt can't beat top 10 teams, or at least hasn't for a while. So how do you feel as a Canes fan about that, Diener?
I've been sitting here kind of digesting all those numbers. And,
how do you feel?
it's not encouraging. We put it that way, but I also look at it as this is his 3rd year now with the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
We all said last year that what they were doing at 10-0 before they lost to Pittsburgh, and then the ACC title game, and then Wisconsin that end the season on that 3-game losing streak. They were a season ahead of schedule with the way they were performing and coming back onto the national scene. Now, are they all the way back yet? No, yeah, because I agree with you. They have to get to that national stage of the playoffs and make title game and even win the national championship. That would be great. That's what we all want. But for Mark Richt, I'm looking at this as almost like a clean slate for him. Right, he's coming off last year with an impressive run. Now, we've seen what you can do toward the end of that season. Build off of it. You have to now kind of put that behind you.
So
and,
what do you,
and build
where do you
on-
have
it's,
to end
it's a clean
up?
slate.
Where do you have to end up if you're a Canes fan to be happy with the progress of Mark Richt? You went 10-3 last year, but what? You were 10-0 and then went 0-3 and 3 pretty bad losses.
That Pittsburgh one really hurt. This segment is really hurting my
Clemson
heart.
wasn't much prettier.
No, it wasn't. Clemson was really the measuring stick for us.
Yeah.
That's at the end of the season to see, okay. See, because Pittsburgh felt a little different. Pittsburgh, you went in there and you knew it was a trap game. It's the last game of the season.
Yeah.
Those guys had nothing to play for. They weren't making a bowl game, and it was at Pittsburgh. So you knew, you kind of felt like, this one might be a little sketchy. But Clemson was just a better team. They shouldn't have lost to Pittsburgh. Clemson was just a better team. They kicked their butt. But when it comes to this season, they have to make the playoffs, man.
Okay.
They have to, the barometer is the playoffs.
Whoa,
Okay,
really?
wait.
Calm
Because
down.
I was going to say a very competitive, tight loss to Clemson in the ACC championship.
Like they lose by a field goal.
Yeah.
Well, you don't. To me, I would look at that and be like, okay.
Playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, Clemson is a pretty stout team. I mean, some
know.
people are picking them to win the entire thing.
I know.
So I think if you're competitive in that game, you don't see that as being. You think they've got to beat Clemson in the ACC championship, or
Make
this
it to
is
the playoffs.
Not necessarily.
Oh, now we're backtracking.
Well, now hold on.
You hear those little duck feet backpedaling right there?
Hear me
That's
out.
not exactly what I meant.
Listen, because Clemson's really good, guys. Okay,
they're
yeah,
great.
They're
yeah,
really good.
they're
team.
gonna have a good year.
I don't think they actually have to beat Clemson to make it into the playoff because they were in that scenario last season.
Dude,
They were in that scenario last season
Dude.
where if
Come
you are,
on, man. Come on, man.
can we all agree that
Diener,
Clemson's going to be number 1 or 2?
ACC is not going to be tough enough to have. No, you're not going to get 2 in, man.
I'm
No, I
embarrassed
think they
for you. I
can.
really am.
No, you're not.
If they run the table this
They're
season,
not the conference is going to get 2 in.
they have to play at Virginia Tech. They have to play a couple of road games. They're a little bit tough this season.
Diener.
Florida State comes down here, so that makes that game easier.
This is what happens when you drink at work.
Because hear me out. Because
Oh, we've been listening.
Clemson's going to be number 1 or 2 by the end of the season. We can assume that.
Yeah,
right.
they're
It'll be them in
likely in.
Alabama.
They're likely in. I mean,
Likely.
barring bizarre fiasco.
Right. Even if
Yeah.
they have a loss, like they did against Syracuse last season, they were still in the top 3 in the playoff last year.
Clemson goes undefeated. They lose to you? To Miami?
If we lose to Clemson and we're both undefeated, because Miami's starting up the season
Dude,
most
where's
likely
your other
number 6 or
quality win in
7.
Florida State?
It's going to be Florida. We don't know how these other teams are going to be. Maybe Virginia Tech is really good this season. Maybe Florida State only has a couple of losses. I'm saying Miami starting off where they're at number 6 or 7. If they run the table,
you're gonna need to beat LSU, and LSU is gonna have to wind up being great.
LSU.
That's your only chance.
That's a good point.
See, that's the ACC's only chance of getting 2 teams. in.
LSU is gonna that win at the first game of the season. If they beat LSU, we have to then root for LSU to just run the
destroy.
table. From them. Yeah.
I mean, you're talking LSU playing in the SEC West needs to beat Auburn and Alabama.
Correct. Yeah.
Just hold on. Right.
I just want to understand the levity of this situation.
Let that sink in just a second. Yeah, just let that drain down in. Let that drain down in. Okay.
I'm on the hot seat here.
Well, you put yourself there.
I'm just saying that
such asinine things.
No, I don't
if
think
that,
it is.
this, that, do
I don't
that.
think it is asinine. I think it really comes down to the fact that if Clemson and Miami are both undefeated going to the ACC title game, and Miami loses in a close game, they both make the playoff.
Okay. All right. Hey, you know what? That's the beautiful thing about the season.
Yes.
It really is nice. I mean, like, it's good that you're able to think that way. My mom used to say to me that if my aunt had a penis, she'd be my uncle. I think it probably has the same about.
No,
it's about the same.
No, it's not the same.
Yeah, it's about the same
Not
here.
the same.
This is genius. Lane Kiffin on recruiting. This is actually smart. This hadn't even dropped in on me. My 10-year-old plays Fortnite like crazy, as pretty much everybody does. And I was reading
he does?
this.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was trying to just find common ground, because when you got a 10-year-old, you're trying to find common ground to talk to him about. And he was all up into the wrestling thing a little while ago, and now it's Fortnite. So I'm trying to learn a little bit about it to have any kind of conversation with the kid. It's tricky, though. I mean, this Fortnite, I was reading an article about how it's starting to affect actually some college football teams, because the players are playing it so much. Some of them are actually starting to neglect class and their training like they should. So coaches are like, look, we don't want to be like the wet blanket and the heavy, but it's like, dudes, what are you guys doing? This thing is an amazing phenomenon. It just celebrated its 1-year anniversary, 125 million downloads, and it's already made over $1 billion. Fastest video game to make that much in 1 year.
That's a third of the country. I mean, assuming it's all the U.S. and sure it's around the world.
Unbelievable. But the genius, I think, of Lane Kiffin, which is great, they were talking about how Lane Kiffin, at least when he's at USC, and he probably still does it, you do that headset. My kid straps on a headset and plays with friends and other people he knows from around the country. And Lane Kiffin uses that as recruiting. He gets on there and plays against people he's trying to recruit.
Genius.
I mean, what a great... And all these... The whole article is about all these big coaches having no idea what Fortnite is. And they're calling it like Fist Night, Fortnite, Fart Night.
Fist Night.
That's Ricky's Tuesday.
That sounds like a
Rick Pitino team.
Yeah, right. But here's Lane Kiffin strapping on the headset and using it to recruit. I'm like, that's genius, right?
Absolutely.
I
He
thought
gets
so,
on their
too.
level. He's a young guy, so.
Yeah, why not?
You
Good old
should do a
Lane.
Fortnite. You should challenge him to Fortnite.
Oh, that'd be great.
Lane Kiffin?
Yeah.
He would crush me because I never play. Well, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I should get good. That'd
You
be
should
great.
bring him on Beat My Kid. Well, it's always a terrible name. Never
I
mind.
love it.
You should-
Oh, beat my kid.
Yeah,
Lane
but
Kiffin,
no,
beat
but-
my kid. Here's an
Can you
open
please
invitation.
tweet that out? I will retweet
Lane
that.
Kiffin just beat my kid.
Don't even say at what.
Yeah, no,
Just,
exactly.
Just, hey, Lane, can you
That's how you
beat my
leave it.
kid?
WWE, quick shout out tonight. Going to be at AAA in
Can't
Miami.
wait.
Eight-man tag team events going on.
Really?
Yeah.
Sounds dumb.
I'm going to be there.
Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman going to be a part of that.
Nice.
Brock Lesnar's making an appearance.
He is.
Ronda Rousey is going to be
Rowdy.
making an appearance with Kurt
Rowdy.
Angle.
I'll be wearing my Hot Rod shirt.
Are you you're going, huh?
I'm going.
Oh, jeez.
We're actually front row center by the ring. Don't ask me how we got him,
Okay.
but
All
we
right.
got him.
Please
Dinner
don't
tonight.
ask how he got them.
Coming up here in a couple of minutes, if you've ever gone to a bar and they didn't have the game on you wanted to watch, this guy had a genius idea. I'll tell you how he got the game on when they didn't even have the package that he wanted to watch the game on next.
Welcome to the most introspective sports show you'll ever hear. Oh, wait. Kevin's doing it? Never mind. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
You ever gone to a sports bar and that game you're just dying to see is like on no TV and you're frantic, just like, can I? And then you get that person that's completely clueless about sports and like, what channel that?
Yeah.
Oh, and then everybody has DirecTV, so DirecTV channels are the wackiest friggin' channels on the planet, just like letters in them.
And I'm even telling them, I'm going online and I'm like going, okay, for this area, DirecTV, there should be this channel, and I'm breaking it down. I'm like going, yeah, it's channel 1057. And you're losing your mind as you know this whole thing is going down. You're missing your game.
It's the worst.
Well, tell me if you think this is the smartest thing ever or the dumbest thing ever. There's this guy who was going on vacation in Wisconsin in December, and he wanted to watch an Arizona Wildcats basketball game. And he goes into this sports bar or restaurant, and he realizes that they don't have the game, and it's airing on the Pac-12 network. So he calls up their cable provider pretending to be an employee and actually orders the Pac-12 network to their package so he can watch the game. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's a brilliant move.
You're like, okay.
That's awesome.
That's a strong play.
You can kind of get in trouble for that, though, can't you?
Yeah, I mean, they got him. Yeah, they arrested him for felony identity theft. But
Felony identity theft?
But I mean, in the moment, he's the smartest guy in the bar, right?
That's hilarious.
Wow, felony.
Do they have the DirecTV package in prison?
He could probably order it there, but he's likely going to wind up spending even more time in prison if he does.
He's like, I'm a prison guard over here at Gun Club Road, and we wanted to order the package.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Wow.
How do you rank this sin? I don't know if you saw the guy in Jacksonville that went on a beer run with his pet alligator.
Nope, missed that one.
You guys missed this one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's this guy, and he decided it'd be a great idea to go in and get beer with his pet alligator. From the video, it looks like it's maybe a 4-foot long alligator. I mean, a decent size.
Not too bad.
All right.
But he did have its mouth taped shut.
Okay,
Courteous.
well, I mean, at least, it's, yeah.
Yeah, and he goes running, like, towards the back of the store. It's kind of, chasing some people as he's going in to get his beer.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't chase people with
Yeah, that's kind of where it went a little bit south for him. But I just love this guy. Would you ever guess by this audio that this man is from Jacksonville? Here he is on the news, and there's some clips from the viral video that is interspersed here talking about his issue.
So you were under the influence at the time, possibly.
A lot of the influence. Y'all got beer still? Are you taking the last bit? Come here, bring yours.
He's chasing people.
It's not like I've chased grandma down in Publix with it or something. Go Gators! Go Gators!
Why?
Alcohol.
Alcohol.
It would have been great if he just
influence.
walked up to the front counter and just put that gator in there and said, "Can you watch this for a second?" And just walked away.
Careful, he gonna open his mouth right now. He get you one.
He'd get you one.
Do you regret what happened?
You should regret it.
She regrets it. They already talked to me.
What'd you hear from them?
Yelling.
They told me what I did was stupid, and I'll be facing some charges here.
Oh, my gosh. This guy,
I'll be
man.
facing some charges here pretty soon.
That's too funny.
Probably go to jail, probably not. We'll see.
Wait, hold on. Are you probably going to jail or are you probably not?
I mean, he's very calm about
Not
this
sure.
whole thing.
Yeah, he seems to be very okay with the fact that there's a possibility of him going to jail.
Yeah. It's typically one or the other, isn't it? It's probably are or you're probably not going to jail, which would it happen to be. So, yeah, he says that, he's likely facing some charges there.
Did he really yell, "Go Gators"?
He did, yeah.
He did, okay.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Want to make sure.
There's a cop in Umatilla, Florida, that found a drunk guy trespassing in somebody's yard last Tuesday, and he gave him a warning, let him off without that. But then 20 minutes later, the guy drove past the cop and gave him the finger.
Stupid.
It's
Why
not
would you do
usually how
that?
you react to something like that.
Yes.
Why?
He was pulled over and coincidentally was completely hammered when he was. Yeah. Well, this is an interesting story. There's this woman in England that thought her 26-year-old husband was cheating on her.
I love the England stories. They're always so good.
So she recently hired a private investigator who confirmed it after catching him with his 72-year-old mistress.
Oh, no.
He's 26.
Oh, gosh.
Excuse me?
Yeah, exactly. Squeeze me? Yeah. Right. I know, right?
Okay.
What?
Yep.
What are you doing?
And was he asking for this? A 31-year-old woman in Colorado was arrested on Saturday for killing her fiancé because he wanted to invite an ex-girlfriend to their wedding.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
Okay.
it's not usually a good idea. Frowned upon in most situations.
Not a killable offense, right? That's not a killable offense, is it?
Probably shouldn't be, no.
No.
Probably shouldn't be.
It's just a bad idea.
Yeah, you're right.
Not for murder.
I ain't paying $200 for her.
Well, if you want to check out this show, you can go watch us on YouTube. Just go to the KVJ show and look for Kevin's other show. We got a podcast as well. It's easy to find on any podcast app. You can also get us on Spotify. Just look for Kevin's other show and make sure you follow us on Twitter.
You listened to him on the KVJ show for years. Every time he tried to talk sports, he'd get shut down. After years of begging, we finally gave in. Brought to you by Wellington Anti-Aging. Low T? Go to WellingtonAntiAging.com. And by Bremen Motor Cars in West Palm Beach, a world-class experience. Shop BremenPorsche.com now. It's Kevin's other show on 640 The Hurricane.